Hey, everybody, welcome back to Conversations in Ken's Cafe. I'm your host, Ken Somerville. Today, excuse me, today I want to talk about Mother Nature's best kept secrets for growing. So, for people that have been watching our channel for a while, you're going to know what that best kept secret is. For those people who are brand new to our channel, we're going to get into that in a moment. We're just going to let a few more people jump on. Hey, Lily, hey, David, and Jess and Bean. Great to see you here. Glad that you could join us today. So, secrets are a trick in a lot of ways because everything runs in a set pattern for how things grow. Hey, Be the Arrow, Mad Dog. Glad to see you guys here. And Silly Lily has it pretty much right, and it's the same as above my head. It's all about the biology, but understanding that and understanding why it's all about the biology is where I want you guys to really grasp the knowledge and understanding. And that boils down to, how does a plant grow? How do we grow? How does an animal grow? That all boils down to cell division. If you're growing, say, a cannabis plant, a tomato plant, any type of plant, it's an organic life form. And all organic life forms rely on the division of cells to grow. Hi, David. Without cell division, you have no growth. So you have no stalk growing, you have no leaf growing, you've got nothing happening. So in the research, I took it back so far. I jumped into the rabbit hole and I scraped around the bottom and I found some wormholes because I'm a why guy. I want to know why. Why does that work that way? So I kept digging until I found out. I found out that cell division is in control of everything. Without cell division, we don't have plants. We don't have us because we rely on cell division as well. So who controls cell division? And now this is the real true, secret, if you want to put it that way, is who's in control of the cell division itself. And I found that in the S phase, which is before RNA, before DNA, before any of those expressions, you need the cell itself, the space structure, to be created. So you can look at it as from a car, let's say, okay? That's the car before you pick the paint color and, if you want a different stereo system, that's your RNA, DNA, okay? Those are the specifics, but the base structure, that's the cell. Think of it as a house. Hey, Bigfoot, it's the same basic principle. The house has to be up, the foundation, the walls, the roof, everything has to be put into it, the electrical system, your heating and ventilation, all that stuff is part of what's called the dried in stage, okay? We need that base structure to be there before we can do the RNA and the DNA, before we put in the different paint color, we need that base foundation. That's the S phase of cell division. And that S phase relies on having two things, okay? One, it needs a workforce. It needs the workforce that grabs molecules of water and boron and calcium and carbon, etc., to make that structure, to put it all together and have the mechanics inside of the cell that's going to operate that cell, whether that's a top of the leaf where it's grabbing photons of light and converting that into energy for more growth, but it needs that base foundation. It needs the workforce to put it all together. So where do the materials come from for that to be put together? So when you look deeper and deeper into these things in our bodies, it's actually our gut microbiome. It's our gut biology that breaks down the food we consume to be able to be used to develop new cells in our body, whether it's heart cell, a liver cell, a hair cell, maybe not so gray, some back to some more red and dark, but you need the components. Now, in our soils, that comes from sand, silt, clay, and organic material that the biology in our soil mines for the different components. So a grain of sand has, selenium in it, it has silica in it, it's got all these different components in one single grain of sand, but you need the biology there to mine that grain of sand. Hey, Bubble Magic, without the biology to mine that, you can't get those components out of that grain of sand to be given to the biology to build that new cell. So you need the biology to create the building material for the new cell for your plant. Then you need the biology there to use that material to build that new cell. So really, that is the main secret for growing anything, whether that's a plant or an animal, a human being, a fish, it doesn't matter. All organic life forms rely on the same thing, that cell division. And it's specifically the S phase before RNA, before DNA. You have to have that foundation. Before you can move in the house, you want the plumbing in, you want the electrical in, you want to be able to, walk in and flip the lights on and you be able to see. That's what that basic cell division of the S phase is. Then once that is built, once it's created, then it gets the RNA, the DNA. Okay, for the top of the leaf, where am I looking for the photons? Am I looking in the higher ranges? Am I looking in the whites, the blues, the reds? What tone of light, what photon am I going to gather? That's the RNA and DNA. The base structure's already been built. The specific tuning, okay, is what comes after. So that's the basic secret that you need to understand to grow anything. Whatever you grow, however you grow, just grow. Okay? Plant, animal, it doesn't matter. Everything comes back to gathering the materials, which is done by the biology, and then putting it all together, which is, again, done by the biology. That's where, I came up with the name for our channel. It's all about the biology. Because at that level of growth in your plant, you need to have that biology. So to have success, true genetic potential for your plants, you shouldn't be focused on growing the plant. You need to focus on growing the biology, which means you need to supply that biology as many different components as possible. Because, okay, if you're building a house, you want to build it out of 2x4s, 2x6s. You want strong materials. You don't want to build it out of 1x4s. Okay, it's not going to stay together. The big bad wolf's going to come on and it's going to blow your house over. You want strong. So you need to supply as many materials as you can. That's where you need the sand, the silt, the clay, and the organic material.